Hello everyone. This is Parsa Sadeghi from the Department Computer Education and Instructional Technology, and I will have a presentation about the CSS selectors and the identifiers. First of all, we will discuss about the identity of CSS, what is it, and the explanation. Then defining the selectors and identifiers, which are the definition of specifying the codes that we are writing in HTML. Let's get started. What is CSS first of all? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it's mostly related to fixing and designing the style and layout of the website based on the codes that we prepared in HTML. I mean hypertext markup language. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. One of the most important things that we are trying to mention is linking CSS to HTML in the right way, because I know lots of students have problems in this. So there is a code that is mostly used and in the head part of our HTML coding style, which is link rel style sheet type text CSS ref and the styles dot CSS, and it is probably and mostly linked to the CSS file that you are using in the next page of your HTML coding language. How we usually code in CSS? We are trying to code in CSS, first of all, based on the rules, which are most probably the regulated rules in coding. So if we learn how to code in the right way and with the right format, so we will not be struggling in coding in more complex languages, more complex situations and platforms like Python and Java, JavaScript, and etc. Selectors or identifiers, ID or class. So when we are trying to code in CSS, we shall first of all identify which part of our HTML we are styling. So for that, we are using selectors, which is more common for the codes that we are writing. If we want to specify it, so we use identifiers, including IDs or classes. Then it is the casual coding style in CSS that we use parentheses, and then the instruction. I mean, for example, background color, font size, font weight, and etc. Then value, and then close the parentheses. And this is basically the way that we are coding in CSS. There is a point that I write it down. These instructions include font weight, color, background color, font border, and etc. Font border, sorry, and etc. So I did give some examples of CSS instructions that you can see. Of course, I gave the link of these websites that you can go and check in the reference part of the PowerPoint. We can see background instructions like attachments, break, clip, color, image. For example, border radius, width, and color styles. And for border, like we first determine the top, then right, then bottom, then left. That is the order of the instructions that we are using in border. We will discuss more about this in the future, but right now, these are some instructions that we usually write as codes in CSS, cascading style sheets. For coding in CSS, we should specify each code from HTML. And there is why, because we are trying to have a modern website. For example, we are writing it for a company or something like that. So in this way, we shall find, some specific codes from our HTML and try to specify them to, have a more complex website and well designed. So first of all, we use selectors. It's based on what I said, it's more common, like head, body, paragraph, list. I don't know, maybe H1, H2, the headings, table, and etc. The point is, these selectors are being used without the marks, the marks, I mean, these two, while coding in CSS, CSS, we do not use this. We just write the selectors, then parentheses. There is nothing like that based on the example that I gave you. And as you can see, it is exactly the same with the instructions that I gave, I think 2 pages ago, right here. So we write instruction, which is like background or something, and then the value, which is white. I chose white, so you can choose, whatever you want, like black, blue, red, I don't know, pink, purple, everything. And for more, detailed colors, you can go and just search CSS colors. So it is, you know, specified based on some codes, for example, hashtag FFFFF. So these are some specified colors that you can use here. Um, Second, for specifying the codes in CSS, it is used as identifiers. As we know, IDs and classes. ID. We define ID to give more details about the code that we have used in the HTML page, and we know that. The point is IDs are used with hashtag and mixed with the ID name. For example, we gave ID like style. I gave here a wrapper. That's a wrong example. I apologize, but I did gave another example in the photo, which is a style, like hashtag style. Then we do instructions based on CSS. But for example, in the uh, give an example that I gave, the wrapper, for example, font border. So we gave a pixel, 10 pixel, 5 pixel, 4 pixel. But the point is, the hashtag and the name of the ID. Then we rewrite our, code and, etc. The other instructions. The Another point that I want to mention, that based on what I said, when we are trying to explain the font border, we start from top, right, bottom, left, and it is also in this order right here. Class, let's talk about class. We define ID to give details about the code that is not the same as ID. We define, ID to give more details. We define class to give just details because it is more, common that we can use it in, it is based on, basically it is based on our type of code. Maybe we are coding like a list and UL, OL, and it is a long code. So we use class for the major one, not the minor one. For example, we are using the class for the LI, but the ID is for UL or other things maybe. For example, for the paragraph, we use classes, or maybe some, for example, we write strong and then or italic. So we define a ID for changing the colors in CSS. So we define ID because it's a subset of that paragraph. So we use these types of things based on our codes, ID and classes. And I just did a try to explain the differences between IDs and classes right here. So basically, I did explain this part, but I want to explain that when we are defining IDs, we are using ID mostly to specify the subset of the classes. For example, we are defining an unordered list to change, for example, the color of the font or the border size of it or the call span of it. I don't know. So we use IDs, but if we want to change the whole list style, the list that we wrote in HTML, so we use class to define that. And the one thing that I did forget, when we are trying to write a class, we use the following formula. There is a mistake that I mentioned now. We do not write the selector first, then point class one. We just write point class one, then parentheses, and do the instructions. The same as the others. And the selectors in basically wrong here is basically wrong. There are 2 points that I want to mention here. Point one is the above explanation does not mean that IDs. It is people say we can use IDs and classes instead. With each other. There is no any difference. Guys, it is a difference because there is a regulation. There is rule. There are some rules of coding. So if we want to be a good right and a great programmer, coding person. So we should, obey the rules. And one more thing that I want to say, if we do try to write based on the rules, we will find coding style, coding way in Java and Python easier a little bit. At least we do have a map in our mind so that it will be easier for us. These are two benefits of doing the coding right based on the rules of W3C. I didn't use any references for things that I wrote or the knowledge. So these are the photo references. And also, I want to mention that you can reach the websites based on the photo links. So if you want any further investigation on this PowerPoint, you can use them. And thank you for listening to me. Have a good day.